Kyler Murray remains undefeated at AT&T Stadium, this time as a pro as the Cardinals get the big Monday night win, 38-10 over the Cowboys. Welcome back, everyone, to our post-game show. Lisa Matthews, Kyle Odegard here with you, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for complete coverage of today's game. Now, Kyle, it didn't start off pretty here in prime time, but the defense showed up big here tonight.
Yeah, the big storyline was Kyler Murray, and he had some very nice runs at times, but you're right. The defense was the story of this game. 4 takeaways, tremendous individual efforts. Budda Baker was unbelievable. Hassan Reddick played really well. Just such an encouraging victory to beat the Cowboys on Monday night, 38-10. Complete domination in this one.
Yeah, there's definitely lots to cover, so let's dive right into tonight's highlights in this Monday night win. Again, 38-10. First quarter still scoreless for both sides. It's 2nd and 9 on the 49, and it's the defense with a spark, a 6-man blitz on this going after Dalton. The ball is stripped out of Zeke's hands by Budda Baker, and Jordan Phillips recovers.
And the offense started a little slow. I like Cliff Kingsbury going for it on 4th and 1 here. Kyler Murray keeps it. He's such a weapon keeping the ball on those plays. Easy first down. And then he sets up a little shovel pass to Kirk, screams around the corner and gets the touchdown. And despite the slow start, the Cardinals are up 7-0 in the early of the second quarter.
What is that, Cliff going for it on
Of
4th
course.
down? And the defense comes up big once again. Jordan Phillips this time knocking out the ball for Zeke. What a game for Phillips. And Byron Murphy scoops this one up. Big game also for Byron Murphy showing out.
And then we got Kyler Murray at it again with his legs. Just bursts through the hole. Almost scores a touchdown here.
So close.
Rolled down a couple inches short of the goal line. He wanted it. Didn't quite get it, but an easy touchdown run for Kenyon Drake on the next play. And despite not playing great, the Cardinals are up 14-0 in large part because of those turnovers.
It's 4:53 left in the first half. Kyler throws it deep to Kirk, and he says, go get that. 80 yards on the go route. Look at that beauty. Right into the end zone. That makes it 21-0 at the half. The guys, that's the trio right there. They're feeling pretty good heading into the locker room.
And Kirk had been hurt early in the season. It was nice to see him really break out. And then the third quarter, Cowboys are trying to drive and get something going. Dre Kirkpatrick with the interception. Cowboys fans probably thought that was pass interference. There was some contact, but third takeaway of the game for the Cardinals defense.
Possibly. Cardinals keep pounding it. Kenyon Drake comes up big, back-to-back 20-plus yard rushing here. And we get some points off of that. Murray keeps it. Fakes it to Drake first, then keeps it. That's 24 points, Kyle, off 4 Dallas turnovers tonight.
Yeah, and the route was on, and that means the pass rushers can get some easy pass rush opportunities. Hassan Reddick, his 2nd sack of the game. He has 4 on the season. The Cardinals needed somebody to step up with Chan Jones out. Hassan Reddick did it and then did the dance.
Okay, I like this dance. Gardeck, take note here. Oh, Budda Baker, highest paid safety, finally gets his first career interception. He wants it, he's running for it, and he's down. But he's been waiting for this, Kyle. We've been waiting for it. We've been calling it every game here.
The one thing he didn't have was the interception. He finally got it, and then Kenyon Drake putting the cherry on top of this easy victory. It was good to see him get this 69-yard touchdown late. Drake started this season slowly, had a breakout performance. We saw both of his rushing touchdowns. Everything was working for the Cardinals tonight. Just an unbelievable total team performance.
Definitely, and that's just how the cookie crumbles here tonight. Cardinals get the win, 38-10. You can tell I'm hungry. It's been a long night. It's late here at State Farm Stadium, but we talked a lot about the stars needing to show up in this game, and I can't even tell you how many times I was just, okay, who's the player of the game? Who's the player? There were so many guys that just stepped up in this one.
Yeah, I thought Kirk had a fantastic first half. That 80-yard touchdown really seemed like it put the Cardinals into cruise control mode where they went up 21-0. Finally, the offense got clicking, and we've already mentioned Budda Baker 2 or 3 times. Besides the interception, he had a sack, he had a forced fumble. Just an unbelievable individual effort from him, and everybody on defense played really well.
Yeah, speaking of defense, let's take a look here at the Air and Ground FedEx quarterback comparison and how they fared. We'll touch on Baker in a little bit. The 2 Texas boys here showing up here on Monday Night Football, and I can't believe it, Kyle, 9 completions for Kyler Murray. only one in the second half.
I know, one completed pass in the second half. They still scored 17 points. A real testament to the ground game. But you look at what they did against Andy Dalton defensively. It took him 54 passing attempts to get 266 yards through 2 interceptions. Really, really good job of the pass defense against a Dallas wide receiver crew that is really phenomenal.
Yeah, and Murray here, I mean, you talk about him being able to still bring the juice. I mean, I can't even believe that it was only 9 completions. He kind of erases the thought of that, what he's able to do still with his legs. Yeah,
he had the 74 rushing yards, and 2 of the completions, one was 80-yarder to Christian Kirk. Another big one was 60 yards to DeAndre Hopkins. So the completion percentage wasn't that good. The accuracy wasn't that good, but he had a lot of big completions in the game, and then it seemed like anytime they needed a big play with his legs, he went out and did it.
And he's still undefeated at AT&T Stadium, something I'm sure he's excited about, and some bragging points there. And Cliff Kingsbury finally gets a win.
Turnaround for Cliff, but yeah, Kyler, 3 state titles in high school, a Big 12 championship, and now a Monday Night Football victory against the Cowboys going away. And really, now you start to wonder, okay, how good can this Cardinals team be 4-2 after a performance like that?
All right, let's head to the podium and hear from Christian Kirk, who had a big 2-touchdown game here today.
Hey, Christian, so much was obviously made about Kyler going back there, but like you said this week, you had some big games at AT&T Stadium. Obviously, you had another one today. Well, just what was it like going back and having, 2 touchdowns in that building?
It's crazy, real, but I think it's just something about the bright lights. When the bright lights come on, the cream of the crop rises, and just something about the moments. Just the level of play always elevates, and just rising to the occasion. But preparation breeds success, and that's one thing that I always believe in, and prepared all week, really hard for just moments like this, and just knowing they can happen at any moment. But just super happy with how we came out on a national stage and put on a dominating win.
Hey, Christian, I know that Kyler said that he wasn't going to make a big deal about this, but I'm just wondering, once you got in the game, do you feel like Kyler was feeling the pressure of playing at home?
I don't think so. He doesn't flinch, and in the beginning we were just working some things out. Seeing what they were doing coverage-wise. That's one of the things when we get into a game. Just some teams play us a little different than what we were expecting. So just filling out a little bit, and then once we got the ball rolling, got our run game going, and started completing some passes. Everything went pretty efficiently.
Christian, I know Kyler missed Andy a few times deep before he found you for that 80-yard touchdown. So on top of just the points itself, how big was it to have an explosive play like that in that moment in the game?
It was huge. Like you said, we had missed 2 of them early, and just in general, offensively, that's one of the things I've always preached this about this offense is we're predicated on these deep shots, these explosive plays, and that was definitely a play that we needed to just kind of spark us and put us over the top. And it was a play we had in all week, and we were excited about. It was high on our call sheet for our deep shots, and when the opportunity presented itself, the offensive line did a great job protecting, and on me to go out there and make a play. They had been rolling a safety over DeAndre all game, and so it was leaving me one-on-one opportunities, and so it was just a matter of me just making the most of the opportunity and completing the pass.
Next up, Kevin Cam Kent.
Hey, Christian, just wondering, after those first 3 possessions where you're kind of feeling stuff out, how big was it just that, from your perspective, the defense set you guys up for a couple, your first 2 scores?
Absolutely huge. They were lights out all night. Those guys bring so much intensity, during practice, and that's one of the things, even last week, there's been such a competitive nature out there on the practice field, guys just going at it and making it game-like atmosphere, and we're always making one another better, and there's such a talented defense, and it was only a matter of time, when there was going to be a game like this, when they get those many turnovers, and it showed, and it just helps us out offensively, with position, on the field, and just getting those turnovers and helping us get that spark. So they were amazing tonight.
Now, love this tweet from Mark Dalton. Always a good time to brush off this photo of Kirk and Fitz. I know Fitz doesn't really enjoy these flashbacks for him. He's like, now I'm playing with you. You're making me feel old here. But the first 2 half touchdowns for this Scottsdale native Christian Kirk, 8 years old in this photo, provide a good excuse to dust off this photo. Yes,
that
indeed.
That is fantastic. And it's pretty amazing that Larry Fitzgerald is still playing when Christian Kirk went from 8 to the NFL. But yeah.
I can't handle that. And then Andy Isabella with his jersey wearing, he's wearing Fitzgerald's jersey, and I think he was like 11 years old. So these are all photos that they like to dust off and poke fun a little bit at Fitz.
And Fitz didn't have a huge game today, but he had that key catch where he grabbed it and he stuck the ball out past the first down marker. Just such a heady play from Larry Fitzgerald to get that first down, and that's when the offense was struggling a little bit. So a big early play from him, and then Christian Kirk doing his thing. Just an unbelievable catch for him to go full extension and hold on to that ball when you're running full speed.
Yeah, and another guy with Texas roots, obviously went to Texas A&M. It's just great to see him have a game like this.
Yeah, and he said this week, it's about Kyler, but I've also had some pretty good games at AT&T Stadium myself, and he had, I think, 6 touchdowns in 3 games coming into this one from college, and he had 2 more right at his average in the NFL, so it's home sweet home for Christian Kirk as well.
Well, like we said earlier, we were tossing around our plans. He was our SRP power performer, but now we can actually crown Budda Baker as our SRP power performer of the game. 7 tackles, a sack, an interception, and a forced fumble. The highest paid safety playing like it.
Yeah, well worth the price for Budda Baker. And he's a guy, I think, we might have taken him for granted before he missed that Carolina game with the thumb injury, and he went off the field for 1 game, and the Cardinals defense looked pretty lost. And the fact that he is so good, I think now everybody really realizes how good Budda Baker is, and he just showed it tonight. An unbelievable performance with, like we said, the interception, the sack, the forced fumble. I mean, he can do everything from safety, and doing it at just 5'10". He's an amazing specimen.
I just love when they bring him up too, and he's able to blitz the quarterback, get a sack like that. I mean, he plays like so big for his size.
Absolutely, and yeah, if you're a quarterback, you don't know what Budda Baker's doing on any particular play, so it's really tough to know where he's going to be. And I thought Vance Joseph did a great job today of deploying him, sometimes blitzing, sometimes going back and playing the center field role and getting the pick. So he really showed everything he can do on the football field tonight.
He's really been waiting for that moment after the pick. What celebration would he do? And he ended up with the bowling ball, the pins, and I loved it.
No offense,
well
but
choreographed.
He's had a long time to think about it.
Has.
Sorry, Budda, but.
Which is insane to think how many accolades he has, milestones he's hit in tonight on Monday Night Football. Just what we talked a little bit about him before coming into this post game. Just the star power here. He's not really talked about a lot. So just for him to have a game like this nationally, what does that do for him?
Yeah, and Deion Sanders sent a tweet saying how good Budda Baker was. And I think it is nice for his profile because he's a very understated guy. And like we said, he's the highest paid safety in the NFL, but he doesn't get huge headlines. He's not a very boisterous guy, and he doesn't have this huge ego, but he's such a tremendous football player that I thought it was cool that on prime time he was so good. And catching the ball, by the way, with a cast on his hand, he got his first interception.
Yeah, can we repeat that one more time? With a cast, 9 fingers, I believe I saw him making a great tackle. Just he was kind of arm barring because he knows he doesn't have the capability to tackle the way he would like to.
And even so, just a great player with 9 fingers, and imagine when he gets 10th back.
Let's go to our Toro ground stats, taking a look at the numbers on the ground here today. And Kenyon Drake, at the end of the day, showed up big for the Cardinals, 164 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and Chase Edmonds last week talked about the 3-headed monster that they have in the running game, and it showed up today with Kenyon Drake doing his thing. Kyler Murray had a great rushing performance. Chase Edmonds had a few carries at a decent yards per carry. So Kenyon Drake, I think, really turned his season around in this one after a slow start.
Kenyon Drake now has 10 rushing touchdowns in the last 9 games. So he still shows up in the end zone. Definitely.
And I know fantasy owners for Kenyon Drake are happy because a lot of times at the one, Kyler Murray was getting that ball. So all the Kenyon Drake fantasy owners are happy tonight.
8.2 yards per carry there, 20 rushing attack, 2 touchdowns again. I mean, we can talk about fantasy and who do you pick up? Edmonds, Drake, I mean.
Yeah, and this was missing from the Cardinals offensively is the running attack. Kyler Murray was doing great holding running the ball as a quarterback, but Kenyon Drake was averaging 3.7 yards per carry coming into this game, and last week he took some criticism for going east and west too much instead of hitting the hole hard, and it seemed like the coaching staff talked to him about it, and you could see him change late in that game last week against the Jets, and then in this one he just did a really nice job of hitting the hole hard and sprung that one late to really pump up his numbers.
Yeah, well, I like Cliff's game plan in this. They kept hitting the hole hard, like you said. Things didn't seem to be clicking offensively in the air. Multiple times we saw Hopkins and Murray not connect, so they just kept running the ball, and it paid off in the end.
And it says a lot about this team when Cliff Kingsbury is known for the air raid coming in, and that they completed one pass in the second half and still scored 17 points. The defense deserves a lot of credit, but I agree with you. The rushing attack was fantastic.
Well, let's hear from our SRP power performer of the game. Budda Baker is at the podium.
How did it feel to get your first career pick? And I guess leading up to this, were you frustrated? What were kind of the emotions of not being able to get one until this point in your career?
Yeah, I mean, for me, honestly, I just thought, when the ball comes, it's going to come my way, and that was a great opportunity that I had to get the INT, and I made it, and I was very excited when I got it because the first one's always the first one, and now it's just a matter of they always come in bunches. Turnovers come in bunches, and we got a lot of turnovers as a defense today.
Yeah, Budda, how key was it to have all those turnovers just like for this game itself, but also, without Chandler, to see so many guys on the defense stepping in?
Yeah, exactly. Just like you said, Chandler was, the best pass rusher in the league. He caused so many turnovers, and without having him, we had to all, ground together, become more of a team on the defensive side, and we showed out today, and I'm glad that we have these players, and I'm glad everybody you kind of played for Chan.
Budda, you guys showed a lot of different things to Andy tonight. Can you just, I guess, talk about the game plan going in and how Vance had it set up for you guys to do what you did tonight?
Yeah, the game plan going was we knew that they were going to try and get Zeke the ball early, and we knew they were going to try and maybe boot or game with Andy being, first start as a Cowboy. And for us, we just try to show different looks. When it was too high, we try to show one high, and when it was one high, we try to show high. Just showing him different looks and trying to get him confused because, he that was his first, so it was pretty hard for him. We knew that Andy Dalton's a great QB. We knew that if we were just going to show our looks, he was going to dice us. So we had to mix our looks up.
Next up, Bob Howard Kent.
Budda, I know you guys wanted to make sure you passed the test tonight under the bright lights and whatnot, but how important now does Sunday's game against undefeated Seattle look in your mind, and what are the stakes are going to be going into that Sunday game before your bye week?
Yeah, I mean, for us, honestly, we just got the W Dallas. We're going to celebrate tonight and get ready for the Seahawks tomorrow. So hopefully you can ask me that question soon. But for us, we know the Seahawks are a great team. They're always a great team. Russell Wilson got them going. DK Metcalf, Carson in the run game. They're a great offense and a great team. We know that we're going to have a challenge ahead of us. So, like I said, we're going to, have fun tonight, and tomorrow think about Seattle.
First, Budda, when did you guys come up with that celebration after the interception, and then also the two fumbles fitting in?
Hey Howard, we can't hear you, so we're gonna move on to Kent.
Yeah.
Budda, just curious, what's up with the eye black under just one eye? I noticed Kyler had that too.
Yeah, I mean, I've done this every single game in my career, even in high school. So, I've always had this. It's maybe been hard to see, but, I always wear the line under the
Kyle, I like how he said play for Chan. We knew that it would have to be a team effort. We saw Jordan Phillips have a game, Reddick, even Gardeck, obviously Budda Baker. So they all collectively had to come together for this one.
Yeah, I know that Dak Prescott didn't play, and that's obviously a big deal for the Cowboys, but they still have a good offense. You've got Ezekiel Elliott. You had Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. Ezekiel Elliott fumbled twice because of plays made by the Cardinals defense. So I feel like the defense is just in such a good spot. They've played so well. They were 5th in points allowed heading into this game, and then they only gave up 10, including one very late touchdown. So we'll see. I mean, you got the Seahawks coming up. You have some offensive powerhouses, but the Cardinals defense is just leaps and bounds better than it was a season ago.
And 4 takeaways here tonight. We talked about that in the pregame show. They only had 2 coming into this game. It comes in bunches, and it was proven here today.
Yeah, when you get up by, 17, 21 points, that's when they really start coming because you know a team is passing. You can really rev up the pass rush. But I thought those 2 early ones were so key. The offense wasn't playing too well for the Cardinals quite yet. Budda Baker had the big one, and then Jordan Phillips followed him up with the other forced fumble. So a couple of very opportune plays there in the first half.
And Budda Baker talking about the Seahawks coming up. I mean, he's a native, obviously, over there. So it's a game that he always has circled. And the Seahawks coming in, pretty well rested after a bye week. Cardinals will not be with a short week coming up here.
Yeah, that's not a good scenario, but the fact that you're playing at home, it's a great opportunity for the Cardinals against an undefeated team. Everybody's looking at the Seahawks as a possible Super Bowl contender, so I'm sure the Cardinals and the fans are going to be absolutely amped up for that matchup.
Definitely. Well, let's hear from head coach Cliff Kingsbury following this 38-10 victory here on Monday night.
Hey, Cliff, at what point in getting to know Budda did you realize that he hadn't had an interception yet in the NFL? And was that surprising to you given a player of his caliber?
It was. We heard about it last year and have stayed on him about it. But he practices so hard, he works so hard, you knew it was just a matter of time. And so it was awesome to see him get one tonight. But he is everywhere. I mean, you watch the game. 32 shows up in every situation all night. Just such a tremendous player and great leader for us.
Hey, Cliff, obviously first game without Chandler. What was it like just watching that defensive performance for you guys, and how big was it just to have them play so well when you lose one of your best players?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough losing not only a great player, but a great leader, a great person, one of the best players in the league. It's never easy, but I thought our guys responded well and played hard, practiced hard all week. VJ and his group had a great plan and executed at a high level, but great energy the entire night. Took 4 times, which was huge, and really turned the game for us.
Next up, we'll go Sierra, Bob, and Josh, please.
Hi, Coach. Patrick Peterson said earlier in the week that he really wanted to come out here on a national stage and just show how good this team really is. How do you feel like you guys were able to execute on that?
I thought we played hard. I could tell in the locker room we had great energy, had great juice. Could tell all week during practice guys were locked in, and it carried over. We harped on penalties and playing a cleaner style of play, and then getting takeaways, and we hit both those categories tonight. So that was a huge part of it. And I thought Pat had great energy all throughout the week. I mean, he was focused, kind of had the eye of the tiger, and made a bunch of plays out there tonight.
Cliff, Kenya went for over 100, and thanks to that crazy last run. How nice was it to see him finish the game that way?
It was awesome. I've said it, since last. And that cat knows how to finish games. You get him in that fourth quarter, and the game's on the line. He's going to find first downs and find the hole and run physical, and he seems to get stronger as it goes on. So he worked really hard this week. He was frustrated last week with some things, and I thought he did a great job of refocusing and really played at a high level tonight.
Hey, Cliff, two-parter for you. First is, what did you think of how Kyler played back, obviously, with all that attention and kind of pressure, if you will? And then second part is, we didn't really talk about this last week, I'm sure much to your satisfaction, but last time you were in that stadium was your last game at Texas Tech. So did that mean anything to you getting a win there?
Yeah, I thought Kyler, did a nice job. That's not easy when that's all everybody's been talking about all week. And he's probably had this one circled on his calendar since it came out. But I thought he handled himself well. we were close on a couple of things early, had some close throws that I think we'll make in the future. May have been a little too revved up, but I thought, throughout the game, he continued to make plays with his feet that really extended drives, and I was proud of the way he handled himself. For me, it was just exciting to see our team play on a Monday night stage and the way they embraced it and the effort and energy, and so that was what was meaningful to me.
Next we'll go Colin, Nick, and Cam, please.
Cliff, just after a big win on a big stage like this, I guess how much easier is it to try to carry that momentum forward on a short week when you got 5-0 Seattle up next?
It was going to be, we were going to be focused regardless. I mean, anytime you have a team of that caliber coming in, that's that well coached and playing at such a high level, I mean, you better be ready. It's a divisional opponent, and so I knew we'd be focused regardless, but I think it definitely gives us a little boost on a short week to lock back in, enjoy it on the plane home, and then get back to work tomorrow morning.
Cliff, on Christian's 80-yard touchdown, did you have a look at that kind of full speed fingertip catch?
Yeah, we talked about it. He said that's the late hands trick. He was able to stay on his feet. If you have early hands, your body goes with you. You usually dive for the ball. He went late hands, was able to gather it, catch the back end of it, and the rest of the way. I talked to him all week about his Texas A&M days. He'd always have huge games against Arkansas when they played this game here. So I had a feeling he was going to have a nice night.
Hey, Cliff, sometimes this season you've looked for your team to find some energy. Seemed like they had it tonight, a lot of celebrations. I even thought I saw you get in on one. You were kind of shoulder bumping some people at times. Just how much fun is that for you to see your guys celebrate like that and find that energy that at times they were missing this year?
Yeah, it's a big part of the season. Going into empty stadiums or partially filled stadiums, you got to create your own energy, and that's been a big point that we've all been making and all been trying to adhere to, whether it's practice or the games, finding ways to create that, and our guys did a great job tonight.
We'll wrap it up with the final four: Jess and Catherine, Jody and Bob.
An impressive primetime win for Cliff and the Cardinals. And Kyle, when we talk about this offense, obviously we saw what they could do against the Jets. A little different, obviously, here tonight. But what do you feel needs to improve heading into next week against the Seahawks?
I mean, it looked pretty good when you talk about style and the plays. It seemed like everything was there that they wanted. Kyler Murray wasn't as accurate as he would have hoped, and I think Cliff Kingsbury really touched on it well, where he said that Kyler Murray had been hearing about this game all week, and he was amped up. And, when you throw those deep balls, you want to make sure they're far enough, and he overthrew Andy Isabella maybe a little bit on the first one. The second one looked like a little miscommunication, but once Kyler Murray settled down, he played better, and if he can get the accuracy back to where it was in the first 5 games, I just feel like this offense has so many different weapons, and the way Cliff Kingsbury calls plays has been really impressive. So I feel like they're really on the precipice of turning a corner, and that's pretty dangerous, seeing how well the defense is playing as well.
It is dangerous, seeing that they were able to put up still 38 points, and the offense wasn't clicking on all cylinders. We saw, again, a lot of that miscommunication between Kyler and Hopkins. What do you think is just happening there?
Yeah, I mean, I think DeAndre Hopkins coming in late, not having an offseason, there's going to be some times when maybe it's an option route and DeAndre Hopkins thinks he should go in and Kyler Murray thought he should go out. And there's the little things that you can fix. But when you talk about talent overall, this team clearly has the personnel to make a difference in game after game. So I'm very bullish about this offense. I know it's had some hiccups and maybe not been as smooth as we thought it would be, but you can just see the talent with this group. I think the offensive line is just playing fantastic football right now. Kyler Murray is not getting pressured very often. So when Kyler Murray is accurate and clicking, I feel like this offense is really going to take the next step.
Well, like we said, the Seahawks coming into town next week, paying a visit here at State Farm Stadium. Let's take a look at the NFC West standings. Again, they're undefeated, 5-0, and it's close here.
Yeah, all those teams are bunched up, and it's funny. I mean, going into the season, people thought the Cardinals were going to be last in the NFC West. Even if they were improved, people didn't think they were the same caliber as the Seahawks, Rams, and 49ers. And we obviously have a long way to go, and we'll see how it turns out in the end. But the Cardinals are playing really, really well. So I feel like they're right in the thick of things, and you're at home against the Seahawks. And even though they're undefeated, I feel like the Cardinals don't have a significant talent disadvantage in this game. So they can win this game. And if they do against the Seahawks, then you're talking about a very competitive shot at the NFC West. So I think it's just a humongous game for the Cardinals coming up.
Russell Wilson playing at an MVP level. Again, they were on the bye list this week. So let's take a look at some of the other scores around the league. Last night we watched the 49ers get the win 24-16 over the Rams.
Yeah, and the Rams had looked really good before that. So it's a very week-to-week thing, the NFL. And now the Cardinals and the Rams are tied with their standings, and the 49ers are behind them. And who would have thought at this point in the season that the 49ers, the defending NFC champions, would be in last place in the NFC West? So you just never know how it's going to go in the NFL.
And the Cardinals were the second Monday Night Football game here tonight, which is odd. It's 2020.
Yeah.
Gotta expect it. The Kansas City Chiefs, 26-17 over the Bills in that one.
And I think this is just a big stretch for the Cardinals now, where the schedule is getting tougher, and going on the road against Dallas, you thought that would be a very close game, and they just looked great. And now you have Seattle, and you have a lot of division games coming up. You have the Bills coming up. It's going to be a tough test, but the way they played tonight, there's not a big glaring weakness on this team like there was with the pass defense last year, and the receiver core didn't have a star receiver. It just seems like the Cardinals have all the pieces if they put it together.
Well, the Cardinals are 4-2 after this big Monday Night Football win, 38-10 over the Cowboys. Join us tomorrow morning for the morning scramble. Get your coffee, and we will deep dive into this one once again. Thank you so much for joining us here on our post-game show. We will see you next week.